First Nephi chapter 3 verse 19, it says, "And behold, it is wisdom in God that we should obtain these records, that we may preserve unto our children the language of our fathers." Now, language is an interesting thing in the Book of Mormon. Later on, the prophet Mormon, talks about how he writes, and he can write at least two different languages. He can write in Hebrew and he can write in Reformed Egyptian. And they seem to have different characters. They also talk several times about how their language has been altered. When they first meet the Mulekites, for example, they couldn't understand each other, even though they started off speaking the same language. And it becomes the issue of interpretation of languages, and how languages change becomes an issue. And so these records became important because it connects them and makes it so that they can read the scriptures, and also that they do have a connection to the Hebrew and to their older languages. I've been doing research recently in Africa, and Africa is very different linguistically than the United States. The areas that I'm doing research in, people typically speak about three languages, at least three languages. And not all of the languages are written languages either, so they're evolving and changing. But people often speak a tribal language at home. If they are from the same tribe as their spouse, they'll speak the tribal language at home. Otherwise, they'll just speak it when they go back to the tribe. They'll speak Swahili, or a version of Swahili that's more understandable among other people. And then they will also, educated people will speak English and be able to read and write in English. And so they often speak three or more languages, and less educated people speak a couple less. They might not speak the English, for example, but they can do the Swahili because they're in a big enough city that they can communicate with the Swahili, and then they'll speak their tribal language, which was the one they grew up speaking. And it's just interesting how these languages change over time, and how without the written record, the written words have really changed how we preserve languages. And my guess is that languages are more stable, but even now they change quite a bit, because the way we write them with texting and internet is different than the way we wrote them before.